to Shelf Help, a channel dedicated to talking to the void about whatever book I happen to be reading. I am your host, the reader. The following review will contain spoilers. Hannah is an elemental witch with the power to control, the elements. Her coven is the only one in Salem, Massachusetts, assigned there after the witch trials to make sure such things never happened again. She also recently broke up with her girlfriend, Veronica, after running into a blood witch on a visit to New York City. At the same time, a new girl has caught Hannah's eye. When an animal sacrifice and a burning pinnacle show up at the end of a school bonfire, Hannah begins to imagine that they are being followed home, even as the adults in her coven say there is no such evidence. Then runes show up painted on the witch museum, a boy's house catches on fire, and with each incident, Hannah's concern grows. To make matters worse, a detective has decided Hannah is responsible. But things aren't as they seem. It's not a blood witch after them. It's a witch hunter. Let's take the good first. Hannah used to date Veronica, beautiful, popular, fellow witch. But on a trip to New York and a run-in with a blood witch caused a rift that cannot be mended. They are in the same coven, so Hannah can't exactly just avoid her, and Veronica doesn't want to be avoided anyway. Due to personal reasons, I'm a bit sensitive to how relationships are depicted in fiction, especially toxic relationships. And this relationship is toxic. Veronica is controlling, manipulative, and abusive. She openly does things to make Hannah mad or embarrassed, and tells her she will stop when she comes back. She comes on to her in vulnerable moments and always reminds her how good they were. Even when Hannah straight up tells her that her feelings were never respected, Veronica only cares about herself, and really just wants a girlfriend who is at her beck and call. Veronica still lashes out. She even treats Hannah like she's cheating by dating a new girl. This is not to say Veronica is a bad person. She's young, and while not directly stated, this is probably her first serious relationship. And it's nice that the story is openly stating that the relationship is unhealthy, without villainizing either of the girls. The magic system is solid. There are 3 types of witches, though elementals and blood witches are relevant here. Hannah begins by thinking her magic is good, and blood witch magic is bad. Granted, she has been told all her life that blood witches were the things that go bump in the night. And her run-in with a blood witch in New York that takes control of her body didn't help matters. But at one point, due to the danger presented by the witch hunter, her coven is forced to learn techniques to defend themselves. Things like turning the water in the body to ice and pulling air from the lungs. It is probably simply a sign of youth that she never thought to use her powers this way. Likewise, she learns that blood witches are often doctors and nurses, and use their power over the body to heal. The witch hunter reveal was also a nice twist, though not overly surprising. I am curious how active they are, since they have been making sure the witches have accidents for a couple of decades. Witches seem to have covens, so were whole covens suffering these accidents? If so, why did the council look into it? And were they spread out enough to not cause suspicion? Maybe some of these questions will be answered in the next book. The element that doesn't work here is Detective Archer. Even within the context of his actual purpose, he's just exceedingly bad at his job. First meet him after the ritual at the bonfire, where he singles out Hannah and to a lesser extent Veronica for questioning. Then seems to do no further investigation. When Hannah tells her parents about what happened, and then returned with the high priestess, Hannah's grandmother, to test the area of her real magic, there is none. After the house fire, he again shows up and singles out Hannah, without talking to any witnesses who could have told him she was not only not in the part of the house where the fire started, but went back in to save others. He cuffs her and hauls her off in front of all her classmates. Hannah is a minor, only 17. Her father is the assistant DA. She asks for her parents and a lawyer at least 3 times. He puts her in an interrogation room, fails to contact her parents, begins questioning her without filing any charges or having a lawyer or guardian present, and only lets her go because her parents show up after being called by one of her friends. I'm not sure how many laws he broke here, but he should have been yoinked off this case so fast his head spun while the DA ate his heart. His lack of basic investigating leads to a tragic end, and not even that is enough to get him removed from the case. And he's not the bad guy here. I know YA tends to nerf the adults so the kids can be the heroes, but good God. He literally could have been cut from the story and changed nothing. He functions as nothing more than a red herring and a minor antagonist. That's not good character. I'm going to put this on my second shelf. The story's cute. It's got good representation, and it's quick to call out toxic behavior, even from the main character. However, it also completely nerfs all the adult characters. I do understand the need to make the kids the heroes in YA stories, but each time Hannah turns to her parents for magical help or her concerns, she's rebuffed. Her father is the assistant DA. Her paternal grandmother is the Coven's high priestess, and neither of these people lift a finger to help her against a detective who is actively harassing her on no evidence. There needs to be a balance between making the kids the hero and making the adults useless. Or when the adults fuck up as bad as Detective Archer did, they should have consequences. Thank you for your time. I know everyone's mileage will vary, so feel free to leave your thoughts.